Brenda J. Lilly here from Creative Consultations. I just wanted to put out a small disclaimer before we launch into today's video that says I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm just here to engage, to encourage, and hopefully empower other artists to go out and live their art dream. So here we go. Enjoy the video. Well, good Monday morning, everybody. Brenda J. Lilly here with Creative Consultations. It is Monday morning, November 25th, and it is time for another Monday morning Kickstart. I hope you like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, but share it with everyone so that we can encourage each other together to keep on becoming who we were created to be. All right, on with the video. See you on the flip side. Well, good Monday morning, everybody. Brenda J. Lilly here. I've got my big blue cup of coffee. She's back. I hope you're all ready to rock and roll because I know I am. Well, I was watching something this weekend. It was a psychologist, and she was talking about, well, she talked about a lot of things. It was a really intriguing conversation. But she spoke really specifically about the three things every human being needs. And what was so intriguing about this was it wasn't something I didn't know, like on some level, but she dialed it down to such an easy three-thing list that it made me go, aha, that is sometimes what's missing in our society. That's sometimes what's missing in me as an individual. That is sometimes what's missing in friendships, in marriages, in every relationship that there is in this world. And the interesting thing is it's the three things that we all need. Not one of us doesn't need these things. So here's the list, and we'll unpack them. Number one, everyone needs to be seen. Number two, everyone needs to be heard. Number three, everyone needs to be celebrated. Now, I want to unpack these, and I took a pause between each one specifically for a reason, because I know that anyone who's watching this video right now had some sort of reaction immediately, because I know I did when she said them. The first one, everyone needs to be seen. If you are shy, if you are an introvert by nature, if you don't like big crowds, if you don't like to draw attention to yourself, the very first thing you would think when I said everyone needs to be seen is no, I don't. And you would close the door on that thought process. But here's the idea about being seen. It's not about being made a big deal of. And we'll get to celebrated in a minute, but it's not about people like shouting your name or you becoming famous or anything like that. Like if you want to be a hermit in the woods, if that's your jam, then let me see you. I see you. Do you understand? Like I understand that part of your nature. That's seen. I see that. I see that in you. So for your friends, your family to truly understand you, to see you, what makes you tick as a person, what brings out the best in you and the worst in you, to be seen and to be understood. We all need that. It's not about being made a big deal of. That's the surface thought process. That's, dare I say, a very American thought process to the idea of being seen. meaning being made public or being brought to the front of the class or being number one. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people truly seeing us for who we are. We all need that. And when we all start to function in that first thing, to see each other, so many things can happen that could shift and change the way we are together. First of all, we're not going to try to force people into the wrong positions, the wrong seats on the bus, right? If we truly see each other and understand the gifts that we all have, the talents that we all have, the abilities that we all have, we'll know, oh, this person needs to be the bus driver. This person needs to be the monitor. This person needs to be in seat number one because they like to see everything coming. This person wants to be somewhere in the middle because they feel protected by the people before and after them. And this person wants to be more in the back because they like to just sort of go with the flow, right? And they love being launched when a bus goes over the back, over a huge bump. They love the idea of being launched out of their seat. That's like super fun for them. Man, the idea of a bus, the metaphor of a bus, love it. Anyway, if we start to just do this one thing for each other, we could immeasurably shift how we function in our individual, in our smaller societies, never mind the greater society, but in our smaller societies, in our smaller units, in our business life. Like if you put somebody in charge of scheduling who doesn't know how to schedule and doesn't even like it, what are you thinking? But if you see that person and you understand that person's not a scheduler, they're a visionary. They're someone who you want to go to when you need what's coming next, like what should be the next big dream that we're dreaming together as a company. But if you put that person in charge of the agenda, they'll get crushed by it because all they'll see is the minutia and they'll never be able to release their dreams, right? We need to see each other. We need to understand what makes each person tick that we are in relationship with. Number 2, to be heard. When someone tells us who they are, we need to believe them the first time. Now, I've heard that said about the quote unquote evil people in society. So there's like this connotation when someone tells you who they are, believe them. That is a truth. That is a downright truth. If someone tells them, I am going to do this, you need to trust that that's what they're on about. It's not hyperbole. They're telling you what's in their heart. Out of the heart, the mouth speaks. So, what is the person you are talking to speaking about? What are they saying? Listen. And don't listen so that you can correct or listen so that you can make your next comment, add to the conversation. Listen and understand. Listen to their heart speak. And then, once you understand, if you have something to add, add it. But first, listen. Understand. Seeing and hearing someone, vitally important. If I don't feel seen for a long time, I get extremely frustrated as an individual. Like nobody sees what I'm doing. Nobody understands what it is I add to this world and society. It's really frustrating. And I think that there's something in the artistic temperament that takes us there more frequently. Because honestly, we all know that the arts is always sort of relegated to the back, relegated to certain times of year, relegated to the unimportant. Is that shifting and changing? Sometimes in some ways, but not always. So artists feel unseen and unheard, I think, a lot. I'm not going to say more than other individuals. I'm just going to say I know from personal experience it happens a lot. Um, And so when I am seen and when I am heard, it's important for me to make a note of it, to recognize it, to really truly take it in as an individual, because that gives me strength. It gives me the ability to keep going, right? We need to clock it when we are seen and when we are heard, and who is doing the seeing and who is doing the hearing, right? We need to clock it, and we need to clock those people, because those become our people. Those become sometimes our support system, our upline, our colleagues, our coworkers, our friends, our family. They love us, right? And we know that because they see us and they hear us. Who here has started a conversation with someone and you're in the middle of a sentence and you just get charged right over? Like you haven't even gotten to finish your thought and they're already on to the next thing. Now, that happens a lot when you're talking to somebody with ADHD, um, especially if they haven't gotten tools in place to slow their conversational processes down. That's something they gain as they learn how to maneuver through their ADHD in society. Um, but to be just literally railroaded, to be run over by someone trying to take over the conversation because they have the next thought and they've already processed your thought and you haven't even finished it yet, right? You're not being heard. That takes you out of the I've been heard and understood. And if you're in a conversation about a way forward or how we should do this or how we should do that, if you're not allowed to finish your thought process, if you're not allowed to finish your sentence before you get run over, then dollars to donuts, the person talking over you is not interested in what it is you have to add to it. They don't want to change their mind. They're not interested in changing their mind, and you're not going to change their mind. That's okay. But no, you haven't been heard. And so you also need to clock those scenarios. And that happens in varying degrees and increments in different societal places. So if you're at work and you have a boss and that boss wants what they want when they want it, even if you have a really good idea, that might shift things a little bit. It's not going to inherently change anything, but it might just shift things a little bit. They're not going to be interested if they have their mind set on a target. That's okay. It's work. It's not the end of days, right? But when it's your own personal stuff, when it's your own personal business, when it's you're trying to speak your heart and someone's not listening, like tell someone that this is what you're going through, and all they come up with is, oh, I remember when this happened to me, blah 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 blah. Oh, when this happened to me, blah 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 blah. No, they're not truly listening to you. Have you done that? There's no judgment here. I think we have all done that to someone in a conversation. We've all shut people down before, whether in a work scenario, where you do it purposefully and knowingly, or in a personal scenario where you didn't mean to shut the person down, but you were just relating your own experience to it. And so you just jumped on it and you turned it into a you thought rather than a they thought. I think we've all done it, but we need to realize that everyone needs to be seen, everyone needs to be heard. And we need to start putting those two things into practice. The third thing that we also need to add to our practice of interaction and relational thoughts is everyone needs to be celebrated. So here's another one that we go, no, I don't. I don't need people to give me accolades. I'm good as long as the work is good and people like it. I'm fine. I don't need a pat on the back. Okay, if you don't want to be brought to the front of the group and have to be made paraded around and lauded over, that's one thing, but that's not being celebrated. That's a form of celebration, but it's not the idea. The idea of celebrating is having people recognize your gifts, your talents, your abilities, and celebrate them with you and make them known. Like, to hear words of affirmation is so vital to the human psyche. I think to know that not only are you loved, not only are you seen or heard, but that you are appreciated as an individual. You are appreciated for what you bring to the table. What you bring to the table is indeed important. Everyone needs these three things. Again, varying degrees because of our personality structures, but we all need to be seen, to be heard, and to be celebrated. Celebration is such a vitally important thing in our society. And we too often just jump to the next workload, just jump to the next project, just jump to the next day. Like, tomorrow's another day, moving on. If we don't stop and celebrate when we do something really well, you pass a test, you finish a painting, you finish a song, writing a song, you play it for people, you showcase it, it gets sold, the song is being sung in other places and being picked up by other artists because it's so beautiful. You choreograph a dance, it gets on YouTube, it goes viral. These moments need to be celebrated. These ideas need to be celebrated. These successes, big, small, medium size, all of it, we need to celebrate not only other people, but we need to celebrate for ourselves. We need to say, yeah, I did that. Not so that we're proud and puffed up and pompous, but to understand what you did was good. What you did has value. What you bring to society is important. We all need these three things. So I want you to know that I'm here. If anyone needs to be seen, to be heard, or celebrated, I am here. That's that's part of what creative consultations is all about. I want to be able to celebrate with you. I want to be able to hear you and see you. So if you need some help on this, I can be that for you. I can coach you in this moment. I can listen, understand, see, and celebrate. But also make sure that you are seeking out people in your life that can do this with you on a daily. All right. For you Americans out there, I want to wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. From me to you and yours. All right. Have a great week, and I will see you next week. Hey, thank you so much for watching our video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, subscribe. What are you waiting for? All right. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye.